you should start. Obviously, it's
Good point.
never.
Oh,
good.
it's live. I thought it made a
Is
noise.
it going now?
Yes. Okay, here we
It
go.
didn't
Ready?
it didn't have a whole pencil shavings part, did it? I hope not. Anyway, keep going. Stop listening to me. I'm listening to you. Go! Come on! Hurry! People are watching.
Stop talking!
Is my head too far away? Your head seems closer.
We're live. We're live right
Oh,
now.
okay, go. All right, yeah.
Happy Tuesday, fangirls and fanboys. Whew! It's episode 90 of Electric Fancave on electricfeast.com. Corrigan Vaughn and Kristen Lattarella here, joined by Doctors Adam Golub and Avery Holton. I almost pronounced the T that time. We are going to do more pop culture trivia tonight. We've got all kinds of good stuff for you. And on top of that, we have to talk about the return of the X-Files. So, I'm not even gonna waste time. Let's just do this like Brutus. Hey, everybody.
Heyo.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Good. How are you guys doing? Should we get introductions?
Yeah, sure. We have here Adam Golub. Adam, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I teach American Studies at Cal State Fullerton, and yep, I teach courses on pop culture, in fact, and also monsters. So X-Files is one of my favorite things to talk about, think about, and I'm a fan from the start.
Yes.
Oh, that's fun.
Awesome. Stoked on this. And Avery, you're a returning guest, but what are you up to these days?
Yeah, it's my third time on. I'm super excited. I'm a professor at the University of Utah, although I don't profess things as cool as Adam, I don't think. So I'm working with social media, drones. This semester I'm on leave, which for academics means we don't teach anything. We just do research and travel around. So I'll be traveling nationally and internationally, looking at drones and thermal sensors and all sorts of cool little gadgets and gadgetry. And drinking plenty of bourbon.
Ooh, fancy.
Cheers to that. Cheers to that. I have a hot toddy in my JFK.
That is one hot toddy.
But
I do have a gin and tonic in my X-Files box,
Yes.
for the record.
Nice.
Kristen, what do you have to contribute here?
Well, mine's gonna be lame. So I went out for margaritas after work with a friend. So I'm just drinking water, but it's in my Ringling Brothers cup that I got from my grandma.
Hey!
So that's cool.
I feel
It's
good about
offensive on all levels. It's water and some circus. So.
that. Water and some circus. That's cool. I feel great about it. Hey, before we get started, I do want to announce the winner of last week's trivia challenge. Our question was about what had happened on Jeopardy last Monday that was unique. And Long was the first to correctly answer it. So congratulations, Long. Julie, you were about a minute after him. You were so close. But the answer was that all three contestants got the final Jeopardy question wrong and lost everything. So there was no returning champion. The next day it was 3 new contestants. Yeah.
Has that ever happened before?
Apparently only 6 times in Jeopardy history. So this is the first time I'd ever seen that happen. So yeah, that was exciting. So congratulations, Long, for getting
Good job, Long.
All right.
our question.
You got a real gift card.
A real life gift card. And I haven't figured out what the gift for whoever gets this week's will be, but we'll see. We'll see what we feel like. So stay tuned towards the end, and we'll ask you a question.
Yeah.
And see what happens. So we should just get into it, you guys, because we have plenty to talk about, and that's with X-Files towards the end. And we will say, for those of you who don't want X-Files spoiled for you because you have not gotten a chance to watch the 2 episodes yet, we will save conversation about that for the end of the show. So you can listen in until then, play along, see how well your pop culture knowledge is going, and then you can turn it off at the end.
So this is where my mom should sign off, right, when that comes on.
Is your mom a big X-Files fan, Avery?
Oh my gosh, yeah, huge, but she didn't know, she was confused by the Sunday-Monday schedule. So she didn't know that there was a Monday episode too.
Oh.
And then I guess she didn't know that you can also watch them online, which I didn't know either. So
I know, I was a little confused by that, Avery. To be honest, as a social media professor, I expect more from you.
It's been a
I
long
expect
week
you to know
already.
Golub Plus exists.
Well, and a lot of people who may have set their DVRs for it Sunday were probably disappointed because the football after show ran over. And so the X-Files didn't start when the DVR said it was supposed to.
Yeah,
It happened to me once on the season premiere of Alias after the Super Bowl in 2004.
It's just another reason why we shouldn't have football anymore, right?
Right, that's what I've been saying.
It was a very strange combination to go from football into the X-Files. And that whole delay was just maddening. It was kind of like these flashbacks to like the jock is on the school bus taking the comic book away from you before you get a chance to read it and throwing it out the window, and you're just sitting there.
That happened to you?
No, that actually never happened to me.
Oh!
Not quite with
I was like, maybe we should send Adam a gift card too. That was a sad story.
Sorry about your childhood.
This jock nerd clash at 7 p.m. on Fox.
Yeah.
That was kind of interesting.
That's a very good point, and I knew a few people, I don't know if it really affected people anywhere but the West Coast that this happened, but I knew a few people who were like, I've only been waiting 15 years for this, no big deal, Fox, well done. So, yeah, that might have been...
And it was really only like a 15-minute wait, right? 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was actually 24 minutes. It was 24
minutes. Yeah, and if you
minutes,
started it, meant it cut it off.
Yeah, you would have missed the last 24 minutes then if it started 24, unless you were one of those anal people who like always adds 3 hours onto your recordings just in case something happens, like a, you know, high-speed chase or something. I mean, I don't do that. I'm just saying some people do that.
It's a thing I've heard people do.
I've heard of people doing that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
so
question us.
All right.
I will question you. All right, so I will need, let's establish this out the gate. What are your buzzer sounds?
How do I know?
All right, Kristen says ding is hers. Avery?
I'm going to go with Could we hear that?
I don't know. We'll see. I'm pretty sure I can ding louder than you can but...
I bet you could.
This may be your...
You bet. Wait.
Adam, your buzzer.
I'll just make it, how about that?
It's going so well.
This is good. I already foresee this is going to get confusing. But
Can we
we're gonna
change our buzzers as we go, though? Like, oh my god, I know!
Kristen, you might win by virtue of your buzzer sound being easier to hear. But here, let's try it. Here we go. Question number 1.
Okay.
This week, Comedy Central... Oh, and you guys, let me finish the question so that everybody at home can, and then you answer. I know, Kristen. I know it's hard. Get excited.
I'm just so smart. It's so hard. I'm just kidding.
All right. This week, Comedy Central darlings Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele, a.k.a. Key and Peele, took the internet by surprise when they released the Red Band trailer for their new action flick, a parody of what 2014 instant classic?
Oh, I don't know the answer to this one.
Wait, that was a parody? I thought that was like a legit deal.
It is, but what is the movie parodying?
Oh my gosh. Is it the Keanu Reeves movie? Oh,
Yes, Avery.
So, is it the Keanu Reeves movie where, like, his little dog gets killed and his wife gets killed?
Yeah.
But that's not what happens in this movie.
No.
Was that right?
It's a parody, Kristen. It's not, they don't make the same movie again.
Oh, I just don't see the similarities other than the name of the cat.
Oh, no, the cat is just like the little dog.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like...
No, I know, but
so it's a parody
the dog
of John
gets
Wick.
brutally murdered.
Right.
Okay. That wouldn't have been what I gone with, but if you don't know the title of it, I can tell you. Wait, you just totally ruined it.
It's called like
nobody was answering it.
Not Jack Reacher, but something like that, right? Like
John Wick.
John Wick. We both get credit.
I just said
watching
like
this like
30 seconds ago.
Wait, it's John Wick?
John Wick. Yeah.
Oh, John Wick. Is that John with an H?
No, I saw it.
You did.
But I just would not have called this movie a parody of that movie.
Oh, well.
The only Keanu Reeves movie I watch repeatedly is The Lake House. It's my guilty pleasure.
The Lake House?
Yeah.
No, you don't. No.
Sandra Bullock. You'll find it on any day of the weekend.
This was going. Like,
really?
Adam,
I'm curious,
Adam, do you follow that up with the Notebook or what?
Did not.
I've watched The Notebook a couple times, but The Lake House that's you know, it's correspondence, it's mail, it's time travel kind of.
Yeah, it's got some real science in there.
Yeah.
It's a not rom-com. It's not even a com. It's a romance sci-fi, I guess.
Yes.
What do you think of Time Traveler's Wife?
Was that with Christian Bale? No.
No, it's
No, that was with Eric Bana and.
The Hulk was in it. Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Well, the Hulk.
I have no opinion about that.
No.
Okay, so this isn't like a thing. You don't go out there and intentionally watch.
What about that one with Bill Weasley and that girl?
Rachel McAdams?
And
Is that who it was?
Bill Nye? Is that who it was?
The other Bill Nye.
Yeah, the other one with an N-I-G-H-Y.
Yeah, that one. Wasn't he in that one? Where he like had like the
Time?
power to like. Sure, let's go with that. Or in time, just in time,
In time? Just in time?
out of time.
Out of Time.
Is that what it's called? Or are we just making it up? These all sound like movie titles to me.
I don't know.
They probably were.
Time's out. Time is up. No more time.
I don't know.
Time's up.
That would be a good name for a parody movie.
I'll take Time Travel Romances for 200, please.
And we all get 0.
And we all get 0 because we all bet wrong. Oh,
Yeah. I, for one, am excited about this Key and Peele movie because I love Key and Peele. Do you guys watch Key and Peele?
Yes.
Wait, is it a real movie?
It's a real movie. It's actually coming out.
Yes.
Like a feature-length film.
Yeah.
Feature film.
Oh my
apparently
God.
coming out in theaters. This.
Yeah, I will see this movie.
Yeah. I will see it in theaters. I'm not gonna lie to you. It looks so stupid. Like, it's not even the kind of thing you have to see in theaters, but like, I would follow them to the ends of the earth. They're
Probably not going to show in your area.
Oh, you're right. You're such a dream crusher, Chris.
Oh, that's actually my nickname at work is Dream Crusher. So.
Kristen Dream Crusher Lateral.
Do they
True.
still have like straight to DVD options, or is it just straight to
Straight to
Straight to VOD.
Like
Right?
Yes.
VOD.
Lots of things do that, I think. I don't know. I don't really know how VOD works or where you get it at. Just
it's
on
like
the internet.
every one of John Cusack's most recent movies?
Oh, that guy.
Oh.
So
So
sad.
sad. But
So
Yeah.
true.
He was in the Beach Boys movie. That was supposed to be very good. I
Was
didn't
it in theaters or was it straight to VOD?
Paul Dano and John Cusack.
It was actually
was that?
pretty good.
Wait,
And Paul
what was
Giamatti. Paul
Really?
Giamatti, though, we don't always trust his choices, so we can't really
That's
say
true. He was in Agent Cody Banks.
that. Hey, whoa. You know what? Stop hating on Agent Cody Banks, okay?
I'm just saying. And the only reason I actually know that is because of the
No,
Universal
wasn't it
Studios
Big
tour.
Fat Liar?
Or Big Fat, yeah, Big Fat Liar.
It was
That's
Big
what
Fat Liar because it was Amanda Bynes.
That's right. Yeah, the Universal Backlot tour has that whole thing where you see Paul Giamatti get like.
Yeah, because that's where the water rush comes down when you're in the old Mexican town.
Yes, exactly. So these guys are like, we've never done this. We don't.
No,
No,
I'm taking notes now. I'm taking notes.
Bucket list.
He's writing about gadgets he's going to see when he's in Copenhagen.
Maybe I can make like a drone on Paul Giamatti.
What was I going to say? I forgot.
Anyway, the
But
point of
anyways,
this movie is there's a kitten that gets stolen, and he becomes like a gangster kitten, and then they go to save him,
Yep.
allegedly,
that's true.
and the shenanigans ensue. In case you want to watch the trailer, we'll post it also, but just to steer us back on track there.
Isn't part of the shtick too? They're supposed to be like the white black guys, and then they
Right.
become black guys, whatever
Yeah.
that means.
They're sort of like suburban dudes who are trying to play themselves off as gangsters, which
Hardcore.
they've done as sketches before on Key and Peele, like when the guy's like calling his girlfriend, thinks he's gonna get mugged, so he suddenly starts talking all gangsta and whatnot. So that's one of my favorite conceits of Key and Peele as well. So I think it looks fun, personally.
It does
I'll
look
see
fun, especially the part in the minivan. I liked that part a lot.
This is
It's
I
pretty good.
lost it with the
The slow closing door.
Yeah.
and him singing. To be fair, that's actually genius. So.
What does he say? Isn't he like, this is my jam, or something? Like, I was like, oh my god, it's Stop it.
I love those guys so much.
They're pretty.
Okay,
great.
next question. Nobody gets a point for that one.
Whoa. We combined for a point, right?
Also, I would like to challenge the fact that you gave the answer before you should have. So I think you should wait until we all agree that none of us know what it is, and then you can give us the answer.
Okay, fair enough.
You assumed we were stupid, and I don't like that. We're smart. Look they're doctors, for crying out loud.
I happily accept 0 points.
Okay. Adam, don't be a suck-up, okay? I know it's your first time.
Adam was just watching the mayhem unfold, like, nope, nobody's getting this. This is not happening. Okay, next question. So, it may have been a little out of context, but this week on Andy Cohen's Watch What Happens Live, we found out the real-life counterparts to what TV sitcom couple were genuinely in love in real life.
I'm
gonna say Adam buzzed first, though.
Oh, good, because I don't remember what my noise was at this point. Oh, it was ding!
I know, it said but I meant to say
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, that was confusing.
This
Anyway.
is a reference to The Office, and it was John Krasinski and what's her name? Jenna Fisher? Is that her name?
Yeah.
And she said in an interview that there was actually love that had kind of developed between them, even as they were acting in their character role. But then he kind of slapped that down, right, in a subsequent interview where he said, actually, that's not quite the case.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of like, it came across a little harshly the way that he said it, but at the same time, like, he was trying to defend her, but was like, no, that didn't happen. Did either of you guys read this?
I just saw that it was like trending, and I was like, okay, I assumed it was one of those things where she, I feel like people always like, you have to fall a little bit in love with your co-star. I assumed it was one of those stories, so I didn't read it because it sounded boring, so I just didn't.
I just imagine Emily Blunt there moving John Krasinski like a puppet and making him say all of these things.
Yeah, this absolutely.
You better correct this on Twitter right now. Tweet. I love my wife.
I know, he basically came around, because in this interview, essentially, I mean, it was, I think, sort of her saying, like, yeah, this is kind of when you, like Kristen saying, when you do a role, you kind of fall in love with each other. There's a part of each character that is you, and, some part of you fell in love with each other, and John Krasinski was like, I think it was taken wildly out of context, that's not what she meant, but the part that really sounded terrible was he said, and I feel bad for her. Like,
well, it feels bad for her that it got taken out of context, right?
Yeah, that's what he was trying to say, but it ended up coming out sort of like a little bit of a...
Like douchey, like, she was in love with me, because everybody is. I mean, look at me.
really.
You've only been buff for one movie. Don't start thinking you're all that, okay?
Yeah, didn't he?
Wow.
He went full douche when he wound up on the cover of Men's Health, right? With a little picture.
I saw that. Yeah.
Bicep.
Okay,
it's like,
personally.
you've been wiry forever, so let's just remember that.
Is wiry what we'd call him?
Yeah, lanky?
Was he lanky? I don't know. I guess I feel like he was thicker than lanky. He was just like a lumbering, was more what I would call him. But
Gosh.
Lumbering's like a big
Now he's
guy.
lumbering.
Yeah, lumbering would be like heavy-footed, like Chris Pratt was lumbering.
Bigfoot is lumbering.
Bigfoot is lumbering.
That is true.
That was my personal concept of John Krasinski.
Groot was lumbering.
Sinewy.
Literally. That's what I said, wiry. He's wiry. I was trying to do the accent, like from Replacements. Wiry.
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 I guess I just don't see him looking like Reese Evans. That's all. He does not look like that guy from The Replacements.
Yeah, but I think, never mind. We'll just agree to disagree.
No, but you're right. He's only recently become the I don't know what you would call him now. I was going to say meathead, but that sounds awful. That was not what I was going for. The beefcake? Is that
Ugh, I don't like that term.
What people say?
It's weird. I don't know what it means. Let's just be the buff guy.
Buff guy.
In some ways, his comments may have been a nice reality check for fans of The Office who have kind of idolized the romance between Jim and Pam, right? Because the whole thing with The Office, the whole message behind that show is that all of your needs will be fulfilled at work, right? Even love and romance can be found in your employment. So, I think to crush the dreams of some of the fans, maybe that's a healthy thing.
But yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I think he's trying to sort of separate those,
Two
ideas,
worlds,
but also, I mean, The Office kind of crushed us in and of itself with Pam's whole sort of like semi-affair towards the end of that show as well. So they've done a lot of.
Did anyone really watch after Michael left? I kind of stopped.
I didn't even make it to Michael
was
leaving.
amazing. I loved Robert California, so
Ah.
I kept watching.
Was that James Spader? Was that who that was?
Yes.
He is
Yeah,
just,
I didn't watch
so
that one.
Creepy. He's so creepy.
Did you see him on Colbert this week? How he's like
No.
super funky? Oh, he's like super funky. Everyone thinks he's funky, and then he's on Colbert. He's like, oh yeah, I'm funky. I'm cool with it. And you're like, oh, he's like being super weird. Huh, it's funny. What?
Did he say funky, or is that your term?
No, that's my term. I always use that. It's my term. I don't know what term they use. Something probably smarter sounding. Do people even say funky anymore? I think I'm probably the only one.
Oh, yeah, that's why I was confused. I was like, wow, they use that.
He's
the
kind
only
of-
one
yeah.
I've ever...
Funky's coming
of
back.
lumbering.
I'm just,
He's lumbering.
he's a lumbering guy. But anyway, it's never mind. That's the point of the story, was that he's like is like a weirdo, and he's like, I'm weirdo. He's a weirdo, and he like continues to be weird. And Stephen Colbert's like, this is happening.
Was he awkward in the interview? Like, was he
Yeah,
weird?
he's a weird person.
Well, you'd have to think that he probably just played himself in Sex, Lies, and Videotape, right?
Right. I mean, especially because, like, I always thought of James Spader basically just from Stargate, because I was a kid and, like, wouldn't be allowed to watch anything else he ever made. And so, like, as an adult, I, like, am now like, oh, he's, like, a super weirdo that I didn't realize when he was just like, oh, he's kind of cute in that movie. So,
He was also, wasn't he in that S&M movie about the secretary and...
yeah, I think it's called
her
Secretary.
Called the secretary.
That rings a bell.
Aptly titled.
I was just ready for that to devolve into all of us being like, what was that movie called?
The assistant or the administrative assistant, I think it was called.
I wish that's what they called it.
That would be awesome. That would be a great
Support
title.
staff.
Into my story, Kristen.
I know.
But I was,
It's okay.
I was kind of
The
excited
cell
just to
phone,
see.
that's probably what they would have named it afterwards when they realized the cell phone can do your administrative assistant's job.
Oh, that's a rough one. Kristen's had a hard week in her workplace.
It's okay. We don't need to talk about it. I know.
So.
Anyway,
What happened?
Basically my job was compared to a cell phone. Like, a cell phone can do your job, right? And I'm like, yeah, totally a cell phone can do my job. Thank you. And it makes me feel super awesome about my life.
Yeah.
But a lot of cell phones have more processing power than humans do now, so just flip it on it.
Yeah.
That's a good point, Avery.
Or tomorrow, just leave a cell phone sitting on your desk.
Right. And just see what happens. I should. I thought about that. Some of the things that they like do, like ask me to do. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna have. Why don't you ask Siri? See if she can take care of that for you.
Or Alexa. Alexa might handle it. Depends.
Yeah, oh,
Sure.
Adam's got that going. He
I
was
have
yelling
an
Alexa.
Alexa
when he started this conversation. How do
I
you
don't
like
know what
that?
Alexa,
means.
turn off Den.
Oh no. Whoa! That's creepy. That is creepy.
Alexa, turn on Den.
Oh, you guys, for everyone listening
Right?
and not
My hand.
watching-
These are my hands. I didn't do that myself.
Hold on, Adam. How are you doing that? Because we have an Alexa, and let me try this. Alexa, turn off lights.
He doesn't.
What's going on?
You
What do
have
we
to-
do wrong?
That's how it works.
Yeah, you got to wire it, man. She can
Who's
also
wire
turn
it?
on coffee machines.
Alexa, wire the lights.
Yeah, you gotta get an administrative assistant for that.
Yeah.
Oh my
Which
god.
is a cell phone. I can just use my phone.
Yep. So
Avery,
true.
what would you have done? What would you have done if that actually worked?
I would have left. I wouldn't even be on the show. I would have run outside or something. I can't handle that kind of technology.
My ghost Alexa has taken over.
What was that?
What if I told my Alexa to turn off your lights and it worked?
Dude, that would be really scary because that means they're communicating across
We
long
might have
distances.
a concept here. I think we have a concept.
This is, oh my gosh, you guys. You guys, we're done with this podcast. See you later. We've got a brainstorming session for our hit movie. Peace out.
Alexa,
Hold on, we can
turn
do
off
okay.
pacemaker. I mean,
Adam, give it a try. Give it a try. See if it'll turn off my lights.
He's got his head. Wait, I want to see.
Alexa,
Adam, see if you
turn
can...
off Avery's lights.
Wait, see if you can start Avery's music.
You gotta turn those back on, Adam. I can't see. That's not cool.
All right, Alexa, turn the lights back on.
Jeez, man. Freaking me out over here.
Alexa, force choke.
By the way, you're all confusing the hell out of my Alexa over here. Just ignore them. It's okay.
No. Really
Eyes on me.
Oh gosh.
I like this game. This is fun.
It was a good game.
Let's move on.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, hey, who says Hollywood is too white, right? Certainly not this guy, who will be playing Michael Jackson in an upcoming biopic.
Oh wait, I got to this one.
That's Adam.
Ding!
That's Adam.
Oh, dang it! I thought that. Forget what your name was. It's hard because I thought you were thinking.
I know the is very confusing.
This is my strategy.
Yeah, he's throwing you off.
It's Joseph Fiennes.
Damn it.
Joseph Fiennes is correct. You guys.
Michael
What is
Jackson.
happening?
Some kind of road adventure story, apparently.
Yeah, apparently, like Michael Jackson and Elizabeth Taylor and who was the third one? Some other guy.
Jack Kerouac.
I don't think it was Jack Kerouac. Had some sort of weird road trip to escape New York City after 9/11, and they're making a movie of it.
Did they live there?
I don't know, and the story may be somewhat apocryphal. Like it may or may not be a thing, but this is a like sort of an urban legend, I guess. And for whatever reason, they decided to cast Joseph Fiennes, aka Rafe's brother, aka the one you have not thought about since Shakespeare
in Love.
Was he the one that played Jesus?
In
what?
What?
One of those movies where Jesus is a British guy. Pretty sure he played him once.
I don't doubt it. Actually, you know what? I did see someone have a snarky response that said he played another person of color once. I saw him play Jesus. So there you go. You're on that. This comes on the heels of not only the Oscars So White campaign, but also the fact that this week we've had people such as Julie Delpy and Michael Caine, and who else? Charlotte Rampling all say that black people need to get over it, that they're not getting Oscars.
Good.
Adam, as our pop culture specialist and one of our two white men in this, I'm going to need you to explain yourself here. Explain to us your people.
Because this is clearly your fault.
This is your fault.
Well, as it's been reported, this is yet more evidence of the kind of both aged and very white voters of the Academy who make these decisions. And I guess now there's also talks of boycotting the Oscars. But no, it's obviously very frustrating, and it's almost unimaginable that this could happen given our contemporary context the last couple of years with everything that's been going on in the U.S. It's really a travesty.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I just say something really quick?
Yes.
It's Elizabeth, Michael, and Marlon, as in Marlon Brando.
That's the one. Marlon Brando.
Marlon Brando.
Boycotted the Oscars because of their treatment of Native Americans, and he's going to be portrayed in a movie with a white guy playing a black guy.
Ouch. They spit on your grave, Marlon. They spit upon you. That's insanity. Also, I didn't realize he was still alive in 2001, but...
Me neither. Maybe that's why this is fake.
He might have been, though. I don't know. It's bizarre. I think you're right. Like, in 2016, and this is a thing that Kristen and I are often saying, is, like, how at this point are they so tone-deaf to the conversations that are happening? And the Oscars So White thing, the boycott around it is obviously raising a lot of attention. around this and has already caused shifts in the way that the Academy is doing things and how they're trying to sort of seek out diversity. But at the same time, also, you keep hearing rumors of how they're trying to, like, find as many people of color to hand out awards, as if that's going to help, like, have people of color hand white people their awards at the show. And so this is, I don't know, to me, this almost seems like they're trolling us, doesn't it?
You'd think, but...
I keep waiting for it to be like a...
SNL did a great skit, which I rarely say out loud. But SNL did a great skit this past weekend about this very issue, where they kind of had, the nominations, and all of them were like white guys who are nominated for very minor roles, right? Like guy on the telephone, or guy kind of walking in the background. And there's, people of color who are the main actors, but the white guys are the ones who were nominated. And I think, it's definitely caught on in terms of people's awareness. I just don't know where do we go with this? What happens next in terms of trying to change this situation?
Yeah.
I like the conversation that's built up around, developing roles that don't stereotype different races too. So, Birth of a Nation has caught on a lot of buzz, but it's about slavery, right? Where we see movies about rappers or just stereotypical roles that Hollywood is producing. So why aren't there more people of color, regardless of what color, cast in what we call sort of ordinary roles? Why isn't that happening? And so I think there's some sort of institutional change that really has to happen. And guys like George Clooney or whoever it was that said, things were better 10 years ago. Well, give me a break. Like, who cares about 10 years ago? We're talking about now. Why aren't these roles available for everyone?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's definitely something to be said for the need for sort of more mainstream roles to go to people of color, which I think is one of the sort of great things about Creed, for example, that, anyone could have been that, aside from the fact that it's obviously Apollo Creed's kid, but anyone could have been that role in terms of who the character was, and obviously his blackness played into who his character was, but it wasn't something that was like a black part. I think Birth of a Nation is a little different because for once it's a slavery movie that is entirely made from like a black perspective. And so that's one of the things that, kind of sets this apart from everything else that's sort of like always made with that like white gaze on it or from a white point of view. And so this has really resonated with people. But I do think that, there's a lot to be said for the fact that it's not simply a matter of the Academy not nominating people of color, but also the fact that like nobody's giving these roles to anyone in the first place, and there are more, but it's frustrating, that's for sure. Yeah, Oscar's so white, man. That's the case. Okay, we should keep moving. Okay, I'm gonna do this one because Adam requested it specifically.
Uh-oh.
Steve better know. All right. Today, the greatest rock star of our generation, Kanye West, tweeted, "This is not album of the year, this is album of the life," referring to his upcoming album entitled what?
Beep, beep.
What is it, Kristen?
Swish.
Swish is correct. Well played. Yeah, he's so he's going to play the entire album at Madison Square Garden. Is that what the case may be?
I don't know. I just noticed he displayed his typical humility though with that tweet.
And a picture of the set list, but the CD list only looked like it had like 5 songs on it. I mean, there was no numbers next to it, and so I didn't count them. But it was really short at the top of the page. There was like a whole piece of paper when he wrote like 5 song names on it. But they're probably long, like 8 or 9 minutes maybe.
Well,
I think there were 10 or 11 songs on that list, but you couldn't read any of them. That should have been the quiz. Like, show a picture and then pick out what Kanye is trying to...
Oh, maybe that's what it was, because I looked at it and it actually also didn't look like English, so I'm like, well, I'll forget it. I probably can't read it.
Was it handwritten?
Yeah, and at the bottom it said Kylie was here, like his sister-in-law had written on the page. It was super funky. See? I'm bringing it back. It's going to be a thing. I'm going to say it as many times as possible.
You would see next to a drummer at a live concert. It was very difficult to kind of make out.
Huh. Like he was drunk when he wrote it, or I don't know, it was like this weird, like the pen, like he had gone over the letters like 18 million times. You know when you do that when you're bored? I feel like that's what happened. Like the letter. It was the funky thing.
He just had he had a bad pen or something like that. Yeah. I don't know what to make of this. I'm never like a huge Kanye fan, but I like him enough, I suppose. Nobody likes Kanye as much as Kanye likes Kanye.
That's true. Not even Kanye's mom likes Kanye as much as Kanye does.
Isn't Kanye's mom dead?
Oh, is she? That was sad. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Kanye. I didn't even make that joke.
Too soon, laddie. Too soon.
Like I said, I don't know anything about him. I don't even think I could name a song that he's done.
Really? Really? Kristen.
Well, let me think about it.
Like, I ain't saying she no?
Oh, Gold Digger! Did you do that one, right? With Jamie Foxx? I know that one.
Yeah. Jesus
Album
Walks.
of the Life. Album of the Life would be an interesting category to add to the Grammy, though, right?
I know.
Wow.
I like the use of the definite article there. Like, album of the life.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Blues.
how would
Life
you
in
even...
general.
I wonder what the parameters of that category would be.
Doesn't it really mean, it doesn't mean album of like a lifetime, it means album of the life, like I'm living the life that everybody else wants to live. That's how I took it.
Huh.
It's not
I don't
how
know. I don't think so.
work.
I think what they need to do is get the oldest people in the world to vote, and they know because they've been around the longest, so they can decide if that's really the best album they've ever heard.
That's a really good... I think
That would be
that's a really
interesting
good way of
to
doing
kind of pull the collective wisdom of our senior
Elders.
society.
I mean, if they can hear at that point, I guess is kind of the problem.
Oh.
Is that too close to home, Adam?
Oh.
Oh, are you old? Can you not hear?
Do you think that this album will hold a candle to what Run the Jewels did earlier, I guess last year, so not earlier this year, but last year with the whole cat-based Meowbum? They released the whole, like...
the Jewels?
Is that a band?
Is that a thing?
Kind of like a underground, I don't know, rap and R&B group, but they posted kind of a joke Kickstarter, GoFundMe campaign that they raised enough money they would make a whole studio album with nothing but cat noises and cat sounds. You got to check it out. So they released a Meowbum, and it's actually really good. And now they're releasing videos, but they raised something like $200,000 or $300,000 to put this album out.
You guys,
And it's doing really well.
I don't know. That just makes me a little bit sad for like the kids who don't eat. That we're making albums about meow sounds.
Well, it
hurts
could
my
be the
heart.
album of the 9 lives.
Oh!
That would be even harder to choose. That's a
know.
lot of lives.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Avery, did you say it was actually good?
Yeah, you should. I'm telling you, and your audience, you should at least give it a chance and listen to it. It's all right.
No, you just said it was all right. That's different than good.
Well, so I mean, when you think about a cat album,
He's
you're
been
like,
talking out of it.
what is this gonna be? But it's a cat remix album.
Our cat's
Like,
stunning
come on.
lyricist.
So is there any rapping, or is it just cats beatboxing? I guess I don't really understand how it's a rap album with cat noise. Are the cats rapping? Like,
I have
A lot of
questions.
it's like remix, but yeah, there are guys that say stuff about cats. There are cat noises. There's one that's just cat noises, and in fact, one of the main guys talked about like the first track he laid down was just cat noises, and he thought that was going to be good enough, and then everybody else that contributed came up with these crazy, funky songs and threw them in there. So I'm telling you, you got to check it out.
apparently. Okay.
What a time to be alive.
You can
The
do a
album?
sampler.
And now they're
Huh.
releasing cat videos for it, like cat music videos.
Ooh,
Well,
you know
that's
what they
where-
should
that's where the
do?
money is.
Cat
They
videos.
should-
That's a new idea.
They should set their music to that cat video of the cats attacking small children. Have you guys seen that?
Oh
Because that would be actually really funny for like kitty rap of a cat. Like,
I do like that. Have you talked about the cat that looks like Adam Driver? Have you
I
seen
don't
that?
think we did mention it, did we?
we didn't
Kristen?
talk about that because
That cat I do like.
that cat got adopted. I heard.
It did.
It was up for adoption, I think in New Jersey, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, was
The
that
picture
seems
was
very
posted,
Jersey.
and it looked just like
That sounds about right.
had these like, Adam Driver ears and, looking forward kind of thing.
Yeah, it's this like long, like it's hard to exactly explain why it looks like
Whoa,
Adam Driver, but
But
it
it
does.
does. It absolutely does.
Did you just look it up, Avery?
Yes. Oh my gosh, this is like a first time Adam Driver cat guy look. He looks just like that sort of like sad
Reaction video.
dour look. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
It's
even
like
know how you.
emo Kylo Ren.
Emo Kylo Ren.
Cat.
E-meow Kylo Ren.
Oh my gosh.
How many cat puns can we fit into this
I
story?
don't want to play that game.
I do. I think Adam would beat us if this was a cat pun game because he's doing really well.
Is really on top of the cat puns. I'm not gonna lie.
I've never realized it before now.
You've missed your calling in life. You should teach a class on cat puns.
Hold on. Did you? I want to clarify. Did you just say you never realized it before meow?
That's what I thought he said too.
Maybe we're just hearing him saying cat puns now. Now it's the thing.
He actually hasn't made a cat pun this entire night. I just heard it.
No, that's what I said.
Oh gosh. Yeah, the Adam Driver cat is great, and I really want to know if the person who adopted him or her named it Adam Driver or some version thereof, because I kind of feel like you have to. But good on the person who also like announced this. It was like a comedian saw this picture and posted it on Facebook and was like, "You guys, it's not just me, right? This cat looks like Adam Driver." And it went viral, and the cat got. So there we go. It's a happy story. Hey,
it is
another
happy.
question. This week, rapper B.O.B. released a diss track calling out astrophysicist and general badass Neil deGrasse Tyson. What was his beef? That's Avery. That is
Yes.
He's like waiting.
His beef, and I should say first that B.O.B., aka Bobby Ray, exclamation point, didn't go past the 9th grade. So whoever's believing and like whatever he's saying, come on. The guy said that the Earth is flat, not round.
It's flat
And that
because
we're
of the
all
horizon line, you guys. The horizon line. Think about the horizon line. It's just always
Even if
flat.
you look at the photo that he posted about the horizon line, there is a horizon to it. Like it's an upslope and then a curve. I don't get it. Unless it's just a big publicity thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, like that's like because 2 weeks ago or so, Tila Tequila also posted a flat Earth tweet, and I looked at that and I was like, she just hasn't been in the news for a while. She's like, Earth is flat. Remember me? This guy seems a little more dedicated to it. But I hope it's a joke. Like I hope he just wants the publicity.
But do people think this? Is this a thing that still people think?
Yes, there is a contingent.
You guys want to know something?
Flat Earth truthers.
Yeah.
You guys.
Flat Earthers? Yes.
So I listen. So this is gonna sound super pretentious, and I'm actually even embarrassed. I'm gonna admit this to you. And I haven't finished listening to it, so I don't even have a conclusion, and maybe you guys already know what I'm talking about once I start. I'm listening to this podcast about spiral dynamics.
I don't even know what that is, so no, go ahead.
Okay. Do you guys know what that is?
I'm hanging with you. I'm with you.
No,
Okay.
I know what a podcast is.
So yeah, me too. Barely. I barely know what a podcast is. So spiral dynamics is essentially this theory of how you could make something. So like a statement like someone can say, "We should bomb the entire Earth and kill everybody." And he's like, you can say that to the whole world, and there will be people who will think, "Yeah, that's a great idea." And some people, and then, well, like rationally, you'd be like, "Well, everyone should think that's a bad idea." So why is it that people have such about something, something like that, or something like the Earth is flat, where we kind of have like really hard empirical evidence of this, where people are still like, "Nah," like based on my like experiences and the things, and so it's just this kind of idea of why people come to such vastly different conclusions on everything. Like you can't get like a unanimous yes on something, which I kind of actually assumed that the flat Earth thing was definitely over, but I guess not. So it's actually funny that I'm listening to that today because you're thinking like, why is this guy so crazy? And I've just started listening to it, and it's this guy's theory as to why people can just disagree on everything, or why they think like why he's come to this conclusion, even though everything tells him like, no, the Earth is round. Yeah. Anyway,
let's remember too. He's basically this would be like an 8th grader telling us that the world is flat, which I'm pretty sure that like third graders learn, right, or second grade. I don't know.
When did you learn that though? Like this is heavy denial. Like beyond just being like I never learned the science of it. This is like I'm pretty sure you did. I'm pretty sure you learned that. And this is why these kinds of things irk me so much. And my general conspiracy theory problem is the idea of the rejection of like experts as being like paid or shills or things like that, you know. And so his whole thing is it's like I don't trust scientists. Like someone pays them, so they're obviously lying to us. Yeah. And it's like it's this weird twisting of being like the only people who can be experts are the ones that don't know enough to be experts. The only
well, that relates. Look,
us.
there's a long streak of anti-intellectualism in the United States. It's kind of ingrained in our culture. And number two, we live in this kind of binary, political discourse where there's always one side and the other side, and you have to represent both sides, even if one side is completely wrong. And thirdly, we kind of live in this post-truth, post-fact moment where you can have your truth, I can have my truth. We can both Google it and prove ourselves right based on what we find on the internet. So it's not too surprising that this is, the case.
Yeah, exactly. And it drives me absolutely banana pants off the wall every time I see things like this. This is, I don't know. I think these kinds of things, this is ultimately kind of a harmless lark that's not going to make a huge difference to people.
Wait a minute. Have you guys ever flown internationally?
Yes.
So hear me out here.
Yeah, but the plane just keeps going straight. It never like curves around and goes upside down. So maybe he's right.
So not only does the plane go straight,
going straight.
Yeah.
But when you look at the map that they show you of where you're at, you're always just moving on one plane. You're not moving like up and around. So even if you're flying over like the North Pole, you're flat on that map. So maybe
I think you should write a song about that. I think you should write a cat song about that.
Oh, flat maps.
I agree.
Flat maps.
Flat maps. Yeah.
Flat meows.
Yelps.
I mean, honestly, that's as good of logic as this is using, essentially. So, it drives me bonkers. But it also, I mean, we'll link to it on the blog. You can check it out. There's a diss track, and then there's a rebuttal diss track, which is pretty ridiculous in its structure, but is also, just funny that there's a return on this idiocy. So, good times.
Yeah.
You guys, let's talk about the main event here.
The main event. I wish we had like a...
Turn it off.
No spoilers, Mom.
Anyone who doesn't want spoilers, peace out. I want to get thoughts. We'll start left to right, I guess. Adam, your initial thoughts on the return of X-Files.
Well, look, this is a joyous occasion for X-Files fans who've been waiting a long time for this and who have been kind of obsessed over watching and rewatching and thinking about the show for all these years. I think it's also just before I get into the X-Files itself, I think in terms of our pop culture landscape, it's kind of a joyous occasion after a few weeks of dreary pop culture news, deaths of icons, the Oscar fiasco. We really haven't had this kind of pop culture uplift since our Star Wars Christmas. So I think it was kind of a moment to rejoice in general on Sunday night, and also kind of indulge in this great nostalgia for the 1990s and for these two characters who have really kind of, I don't know, worked their way into our consciousness. I think even if you haven't watched the X-Files, you've heard of it. You know the names, you know the flashlights, you know the whole conspiracy concept. So I was very satisfied with the episode, but as I tweeted on Sunday night, I'm incapable of any kind of critical distance because I'm such a fan of the show. So there might be criticisms to be had, but I thought it was just great to see the two of them back together.
Fair. Excellent. How about you? Your initial thoughts, Avery?
Yeah, boy. So as someone who watched all 202 episodes, including the 4 hidden episodes, I agree with a lot of what Adam said. For me, it was nostalgic to look back, but I tried to take sort of a critical eye, so I didn't go back and rewatch a lot of the episodes, except for seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that. I don't know, I lost track. But I felt like, it was a little hurried. But I think what they were trying to do, and Adam might have a different opinion here, I think they were trying to show us a couple of things. One, that a lot of time has passed, right, and a lot of things have changed, and that something has driven a dividing line between Mulder and Scully, and we figure out in episodes 1 and 2 what that is, right? The loss of William. But to also show us that Mulder has sort of lost his identity, right? So that first episode, it was just all these flashes of things going on, way too much dialogue and conversation, but it was trying to get us somewhere. And to me, I felt like it was getting us to the point where Mulder had sort of become like a quasi-truther, and was really wrestling with how do I get back to who I was. And when we move into the second episode, it's like all of a sudden we're there again. He's back in his role. He's back to regular Mulder. He's, going after the truth in a more skeptical way with an open mind. And it seemed like the roles were taking shape, but we also got to see a lot of William, right, and a lot of that backstory. And so I think folks who watched the first episode and might have had either a bitter taste in their mouth or didn't quite understand what was going on should watch the second episode, and then they really start to gel together. And the only thing I'm sad about is that there are only 4 episodes left, right? So I'm hoping that they use this as a gauge and really break it back open.
Yeah. Well, I think you're right. There's one thing that really struck me was how much this show, actually it's perfect timing for this show to come back, because it resonates on really both sides of the political spectrum when you think about it, because there wasn't kind of a truther element going on with the first episode in terms of government conspiracy. But on the other side, there's also kind of this corporate malfeasance that's part of this. And I think overall it's tapping into a very heightened sense of conspiracy that we're living through in our present cultural moment that I think, politics is tapping into and has been part of the landscape since 9/11. And so I think that it's actually perfectly timed to come back and reach people from all stripes, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think that the first one, it played a little clunky and it was very dialogue heavy and all that. And sometimes the truther stuff, when I watched it twice, the first time I watched through, I was like, I don't know. This plays off like sympathetic towards Alex Jones types, things like that. That, like I just said, I'm super troubled by in general. So then I sort of like pulled out my Kindle and watched it again. I was like, okay, taking the step back from that and realizing this is also, like, conspiracy has always been a huge part of what X-Files is, but like you said, being in this, everything that's happened in the post 9/11 world and trying to fit X-Files into the contemporary landscape, it's kind of the perfect show for that, I would say. And going into the second episode and seeing Mulder sort of coming out of that a little bit and finding his role again was actually kind of, well, a little abrupt in some ways, but also a little refreshing to sort of think about how we can be living in a world in which there are these sort of out there crazy conspiracies, but there are things that we have to worry about. I mean, you see stuff uncovered by, Edward Snowden and by, all these different people who have been whistleblowers in the past few years and things like that, and learn that we don't know everything that's going on. And so even if we're doing this through aliens and, this crazy alien DNA thing and all that stuff, that it's still something that does resonate with contemporary issues in an interesting way.
I wonder, though, too, the build-up, again, all this time, I think to some extent the mythology, the conspiracy, the ongoing narrative and its different twists and turns is I don't know, subsumed by our obsession with their relationship. I mean, that's a big part of being a fan of the show, is this love affair between the two of them.
The original ship, right, Avery?
It's absolutely. And so, I think watching the show, you're kind of decoding every scene, every look, every comment, just to kind of gauge their chemistry and trying to sort out what happened to their relationship in the past 15 years. And so I think that's part of the excitement for me, at least, just watching the show, is kind of seeing how is their relationship going to gel in the next 4 episodes.
Yeah, I really want to see the show, the two of them together, right, in any sort of kind of familial capacity, because in episode 2 we get both of them with William separately, and both of them having sort of these flashbacks and both of them feeling responsible in a way for the loss of William, but we don't see a whole lot of their interaction, right? And whether or not they were actually together when William was there, or if they were living apart, or what was going on, who knows? So we have to keep watching to figure that out.
Do you have any theories so far on what happened with William and their relationship and things like that? Any sense of what we're going to uncover as this goes on?
The truth.
It is out there.
It's out there. 4 episodes, hopefully, from now. Yeah, Scully alludes to some kind of depression that Mulder went through after William, and that Mulder kind of hints that she walked out, that she left. So I think we're going to have to see how that went down. Certainly there's got to be some kind of trauma there from the repercussions of what they did. They voluntarily gave up their child for his safety, for their safety. But this is kind of what we're waiting to find out.
And what do you guys think of the revelations of the potential alien DNA in Scully and in Sveta? Is that her name? Something like that.
Sveta.
Yeah,
Sveta.
One of those. Yeah. What's your take on that whole deal? Where do you think that's heading?
I mean, at least for me, I think they use that more as a precursor to introducing us to William, and to gently reminding folks of the kind of running theme through the 200 episodes, or showing people who may never have seen X-Files, this is what we're dealing with, right? So we don't know necessarily where the DNA came from, if it really came from Roswell or somewhere else, or even if it's in fact alien DNA, although all signs point to yes thus far. But I like that they incorporated it quickly, and then we see it running through now, right? So we saw it in episode 2, we see it in William with a sort of changeling appearance. But I'm really interested to see if they rush through 4 episodes to try to get us to some point where we see William and there's a reconnection, or if they're going to say we're going to slow down and leave this as sort of a hanger to see if folks want more, right? Because I want to know where William is. Is he in a government hangar, or is he really with some sort of alien race that's come back? I mean, what's going on?
Yeah, definitely. It doesn't feel like 4 episodes more is enough time to wrap up all of this.
No, and already next week they're moving back to the classic Monster of the Week, as it's called, episode.
Yeah.
Where the show always toggled back and forth between the overarching arc of the alien conspiracy and then kind of standalone episodes with monsters and unexplained phenomenon. So it looks like next week they're going back to that kind of format, but then which also oftentimes are some of the more humorous episodes in the series. I always, as much as I love the series, I found sometimes the kind of alien conspiracy mythology episodes felt a little bit heavy-handed, and I think they were able to kind of expand and experiment and have a little more fun and joy with some of the Monster of the Week episodes.
Monster of the Week are generally my favorite episodes of any kind of show, whether it's X-Files, Supernatural, Smallville, all that. I generally tend to like those better than the arc. So I'm interested with X-Files and seeing where that arc goes, but I think like my favorite episode of X-Files, coming from like little 3rd grade me or whatever, was DPO. Do you remember that one with Giovanni Ribisi and
the Lightning,
Jack Black, the Lightning,
and the arcade? Yeah.
Yes, in the arcade, like stuff like that
really
was always what grabbed me. Something sort of creepy and weird, and like maybe an obsessive character or something like that. And I think we saw a little of that in the 2nd episode as well, like leaning towards that sort of thing. But
well, those episodes.
I don't know how they can do that.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying I don't know how they can do like Monster of the Week and do anything with this arc in such a short period of time.
The Monster of the Week often allows Mulder and Scully to kind of let their relationship shine, right? There's a little bit of teasing and jabbing, kind of eye-rolling, but that comes from this place of, affection and mutual respect, which is why we love their relationship so much. I mean, Bad Blood is a classic example of this. But yeah, we'll have to see. I'm very eager. I wish it was on every single night, and I wish there were going to be a lot more.
Yeah, and I think that is going to be hopefully nice about next week's episode, is that so far all we've seen of Mulder and Scully's relationship has been very serious, and so getting maybe a little more of that like lighthearted reminder of what it was that we liked about them, why they had chemistry, and like why would these people have ever been in a relationship with each other if apparently they're so terrible for each other at this point. That's kind of, you look at it like they couldn't get along. Why would they be together? But being able
Well,
to
you know,
see
that's an
stuff like
interesting
that.
parallel. You know, think about Star Wars. How disappointed were, you know, Han and Leia were no longer together, right? It's
Sure.
like none of these romances seem to last when they through the reboot. So
Right. That's a very good point. But I'm excited to see where it goes. So far, I like it. What do you think? Where would you grade it?
I'm not objective. I mean, you know,
You just can't take your heart out of it.
yeah, no, I mean look, the first episode wasn't perfect. The second episode was a lot better, especially just the last 15 minutes. The last 15, 20 minutes especially, I thought were very emotional and moving. So I think it's on an upswing.
Yeah. And by this episode, we should get Lauren Ambrose and Stephen Amell, right?
Mhm.
They're supposed to be in this, so that's pretty cool. Look forward to that. Avery, where would you put it on your whatever scale you like?
I just want to know who the guy is holding the cigarette now that puts it into the smoking room.
Someone's job is
The
to-
That's my
handler.
big question. Like, who gets that job? Who takes that job?
Well, maybe Krychek's back. Who knows? Maybe he's.
Yeah.
No, but so
it's-
I did want to know, like, when I was watching it, maybe this is too realist for me. Like, when Skinner showed up, I thought, okay, for sure Skinner has a different job, or he's like completely out of the business by now. Instead, it's just like we'll slap a little graying beard on him, and he's in the same exact role with the same exact mannerisms. I was hoping for a little bit more there, but in terms of where I'd rank it, far ahead of the last movie.
oh
yeah,
God,
yeah.
yes.
Disaster.
That was incoherent. I just rewatched that the other day, and I was like, oh,
torture.
I remember. It was terrible.
Yeah, poor Skinner is still assistant director. I mean, there's been no, change in his status for all this time.
Yeah, you have to ask for some change after, 10 years, 10 or 11 years. You have to ask for that. More
But
than
I will
that.
say, that guy does not age, aside from, the salt and pepper beard. He looks pretty much exactly the same.
It looks the same. All of them, their voices are all a little bit deeper and huskier, I thought. But yeah.
That's probably true. But in general, also, he was on Supernatural fairly recently, so I guess I'm kind of used to his voice. But
Mhm.
yeah, there you go. X-Files. I'm going to say I like it. And from what I hear from reviews I've read and everything, episode 3 really picks up, and that's where people should really get into it. So that's good news. That's good news.
Awesome.
What day of the week is it on? Is it Sundays?
Actually, when is it? So is it going to be regularly on Sundays? This week it was Sunday, Monday.
Well, maybe it's Mondays. I don't know.
Maybe
I thought it was Monday. I thought
looking
Monday.
back on Sunday or Monday.
Oh, boy.
Now we're going to need to figure that out. Sorry, fangirls and fanboys, we can't help you with what air date this has, but
Is there any sort of device that can tell us what day the show would come on?
they haven't...
Alexa,
Ask Alexa.
Alexa, when is the X-Files on?
Did she say anything?
Apparently she's a little old woman who you have to lean in to hear.
What?
She's giving me like a Wikipedia entry on the X-Files.
Uh.
Alexa, stop,
Man.
please.
Yeah, just give up, Alexa. Gosh.
Well, the next episode is on February 1st, which is a Monday, so I would assume
Oh.
it's Mondays.
There we go. Good job, Kristen.
February 1st, February 8th, February 15th, February 22nd.
All right. Excellent. So, for all of you at home, you can follow at Avery Holton, and at Adam Golub.
There's an in. Not
at-
Avery Holton.
At Avery Holton. And at Adam Golub on the Twitter, and we'll link to them on the blog as well, and you can get their insights, I'm sure, on Mondays about where X-Files is, or you can just ask them, and I'm sure they will give you all the insights they have about this show. So, thank you guys for joining us this week.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank
It was
you.
fun.
Come back any old time. We'd love to have you. Avery was on Kristen's very first episode of the Fancave, so got a long-running relationship.
Where we actually talked about Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny.
We did.
It all comes full
Yes.
circle.
Coming back around.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And
It's
one of
your
these
whole
days we're going to do...
systematic.
Spiral dynamics.
Yeah,
I don't really know what it means. Like I said, I listened to half of one, so I don't.
start dropping it in every conversation, wherever you go.
I'm going to.
Yeah, I definitely would. We'll have to have you guys back. For Avery has been pressing for a drunk history episode of.
Ooh, I like that idea.
Yeah, so we shall have our professors back for a drunk history episode,
That'd be awesome.
and it'll be delightful. So thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you everyone for listening, for watching if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure to follow and subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, Podbean, whatever it is that you use. Subscribe to us. Don't forget to rate and review us so other people can find us, and share it with your friends. That's the way we get to reach people. Oh, and I almost forgot our final trivia question for the evening, which our guests and Kristen will not answer. This is for you at home to win a prize that we'll decide on and give you next week. So, the listener question of the week, which you can respond to by talking to us on the Twitter or the Facebook at Electric Fan Cave. In an incredibly British turn of events, homeowners in a London suburb voluntarily put holes in their gardens and fences to create an underground superhighway. Why? So, no, Avery, no, you cannot.
No.
So, let us know your answer to that question, and if you're the first, you'll win a prize. So, for the Electric Fan Cave this week, I'm Corrigan Vaughn.
Kristen Lotterell.
You guys.
Oh, Avery Holton.
Adam Golub.
Peace out, everybody.
Yeah.